Hi and welcome back to my channel, and in this video we're going to be talking about grant funding, how much you should be applying for if you're a brand new CIC, but even if you're an established CIC and you've been frustrated and you haven't got much grant funding in, this is also a great video for you. So I'm going to be talking about how much you should be applying for, where you can find these grants, and also what kind of mix of grants you should be going for in terms of price sizes, local or national, and all of that. So lots of information here. Before I get into that, please hit the subscribe button for everything to do with community interest companies, grant funding, social enterprises, and all of that. And if you want to dive a bit deeper than this channel and go over to my website, I've got my membership where we do masterclasses and training events and all sorts of great stuff over there. And also, if you haven't set up your CIC yet, there's my course, How to Set Up CIC and Get Grant Funded in 4 months, which in the last 2 years, we've had like 500 people do, been really successful. Everyone's been getting their grant funding from that. It's got tons of advice in it, example application forms, all sorts. So go over to my website and check that out, links in the description. So I've made this video because obviously I've got 10 years of experience of grant funding for my own CICs. The last 2 years I've been helping other people get theirs. One thing I've noticed is that people will start their CIC, they'll put in their community fund, National Lottery grant fund for 20k, and then they'll do nothing for 2 months and they'll just wait to get the verdict. That is not what you want to do, because what happens is then you've wasted that first 2 months just sat about waiting, then you get the grant, you're then busy running your grant project, so you then haven't got the time to apply for other grants. So before you know it, 6 months has gone past, a year's gone past, and you haven't utilised your CIC. I've had other students who've done the opposite, treated it like a job. They've set up their CIC, they've treated grant funding like a job, they've sat down every day in that quiet period of when you set up, before you're running your projects, you've got the time. And they've sat down and they've applied for grant after grant after grant. And those are the people that got 50k in the first 6 months, that got 150k in their first year. I've got one guy, he got 12 grants approved in his first year. That's the kind of story that should inspire you to think, yeah, this is a numbers game. I need to apply for as many as I can. I know it can be frustrating. And a lot of you will think, oh, I can't be bothered to do it. I don't like doing it, blah, blah. But it's one of those things you need to do. One thing people do, which is an error, is they think, oh, I'll pay a bid writer. Now, a bid writer, I think, is okay for like your first grant, like your community fund. Like I write people's community funds for them just to get them started. But really, that's not sustainable. So after I've done their community fund, I always say to them, I'm not writing anymore. You need to do my training. You need to engage in my membership. You need to learn how to write these grants yourself. Use my first one as a template. You know, you need to start applying for themselves, because that's how you're going to be sustainable. But what people often do is they'll hire these bid writers, and that will stall the process. Before they know it, 6 months has gone and they haven't got their grant. Grants are always better if you write them in your own words. So that's one thing. And two, grant funders will zap your money. Also, bid writers, they don't know the project as well as you, and then they take loads of time. So it's far better if you just hit it hard on your own in the first couple of months. So I'm going to set you a challenge. I'm going to suggest that you apply for a minimum of 5 grants in the first 2 months. Now, they can be a mix of local and national. So like your community fund will be one. You might go for like Arts Council. You might go for some local pots. Do a range as well. You know, don't be afraid to go for some small ones, some 2 grand ones, some 10, 20 grand ones. Go for a bit of a range and just apply, because you will learn so much. Even being rejected, you'll learn a lot. Even when you get rejected, you'll get feedback. Always ask for the feedback, and you'll learn a lot from that process. Keep at it. Rejection's part of it. And if you get rejected, get the feedback and put it back in if you're allowed to. Always resubmit. Some of these grant funders, you know, it's a standard thing to get rejected 1 or 2 times. You keep putting it in and you will get it. Remember, grant funders want to give you the money. They haven't set up a system to waste people's time and their own time and resources. They want you to get it. Just remember that, and just think, if I get rejected, I'm not going to take it personally. I'm going to get the feedback. I'm going to design a better project and I'm going to put it back in. That's the first thing. So around 5 grants in like the first couple months when you've got that quiet time. Then I'd say in like the second 6 months, you want to then go again, because by this time you've got some evidence. You've got quite a bit of evidence. You've been running your project for a few months. You've got some evidence. You're starting to get attention. Hopefully the local council and stuff will see what you're doing. Maybe people will even offer you some grants or suggest you apply. So the second half of the year, go again. Go again. Try to go again for another 5. That'll get you hopefully to at least 10 in the first year. Obviously, like I said, you can do more. Once you've got your accounts at the end of year one, and get the accounts done straight away, because obviously you can wait, there's a period of time to submit accounts. Always apply for them as soon as you can, because as soon as you get that first year's accounts in, it opens the doors to so many larger pots, because all of the larger pots will require you to have your accounts. So that's really, really crucial and a real game changer, because it means in year two, you can apply for national lotteries reaching communities, children in need, the Henry Trust. And these are big grant pools. These are ones where, you can start to get 70 grand, or even with reaching communities, you could get a 3 years funded for 300 grand. You're into a bigger realm of grant funding where your organization can then really get really good stability and also get that money in to actually pay for salaries instead of just working as a freelancer, which you will be in the first year. So the first year, it'll be smaller grant funds, working as a freelancer, doing lots of different little projects. By the second year and beyond, you should be working up to having salaries, having more stability. That's the dream. Okay. So the next question you're going to have is, where can I actually get the grant funding? Like, where can I find these grants? Sounds obvious, but do a Google search. You'll find when you do your Google search for your grants in your area that Community Foundation will come up. So every area has got a community foundation. Mine, I have Cornwall Community Foundation on there. There's a bunch of grants that are open and closing at different times. If you see one that you really like and it's closed, make a note of it and come back to it in a few months, because it'll probably be open again. The other thing you can do is go and ask your local council, go and ask your local CVS, that's your community voluntary service, if they've got a list. And then I want you to draw your attention to the national ones. So obviously we've got all the lottery ones. You go on the lottery site, there's a whole bunch there. But aside from the lottery, there are other national grants as well, and you want to obviously tap into those. So again, do a Google search. There's various places that have lists of grant funders. I actually ChatGPT'd and did a test. I said to Chat, give me 100 grant funders that fund CICs, and it did. So obviously then you've got to go to their websites, check if they're still running, or because Chat doesn't always have the most current up-to-date information. It did give me a decent list of 100, so that's a good basis. So once you get the names, you can go to their websites, check them out, check out the criterias, check out what their priorities are, because all of those things are very relevant. That's how you do basically a national search, and a lot of the national ones admittedly will be after your first tax year. A lot of them are, but there will be plenty that also apply, will let you apply in the first year. So it's a real mixed bag. So just go through it. But like I said, make a note of the ones that you'll apply for later and almost create a plan. So this is what I'm going to do, in the first 6 months, second 6 months, the next year. So make a plan. So I hope that was useful. And also, if you want any extra resources, join my membership, because over there I've got tons of example application forms. I've got a list of grant funds, and also we send out alerts regularly to our members when grant funds open and close. So loads of support over there, and I even give you training on how to write the grant funds. So you can do my masterclasses or watch my previous ones on the replays where I've done, the Arts Council, lottery, and all of the rest. So great resource over there. Links in the description if you want to go and check that out.